The first day that Major League Baseball is enforcing the foreign substance rules.
On Monday, June 21st, Mets pitcher Jacob deGrom walked off the field after the first inning, only to be called back by the umpires.
Ask him to undo the.
He was the first pitcher to be checked under the MLB's reinforcement of its foreign substance policy. Cheating is nothing new to the game. Since its inception in the 19th century, baseball players have been looking for ways to gain an advantage on the field, legal or not. We've seen everything from sign stealing to corked bats to the use of performance-enhancing drugs, and of course, doctoring the baseball, which is once again making headlines. In a sense, cheating is in baseball's DNA. We caught up with Andy Martino, author of Cheated, to break down all the ways baseball players bend the rules.
Ever since baseball was invented in the middle of the 19th century, maybe on day 2 of baseball existing, players have been trying to bend the rules, find ways to come right up to the borderline of cheating, and in many cases exceeding it.
Pitchers are always looking for ways to add more spin to the ball in order to create more movement and make that ball harder to hit. One way to achieve this spin is with a foreign substance like pine tar, a banned sticky substance for pitchers that provides improved grip.
I think they're going to check Pineda.
So this is Michael Pineda at Fenway Park, the Yankees pitcher in 2014. It was always okay in terms of wink wink accepted to use a little bit of pine tar, but the unwritten rules were it was supposed to be subtle. Opposing managers didn't like to bust their opponents on this because their pitchers were probably doing it. In this instance, when Red Sox manager John Farrell asked Pineda to be checked, Pineda had already done this at Yankee Stadium in an earlier game against the two teams, and Farrell had let it go. And this was honestly like, dude, really? You're putting it on your neck? You're just supposed to put a little bit somewhere out of view. The Red Sox were like, don't disrespect us by slathering it on your neck and making it so obvious. Gaylord Perry's a Hall of Famer, and he was famous for doctoring the baseball using all kinds of methods. He admitted it. You see him, whatever he's got there, whatever kind of pitchers used Vaseline. You didn't have spider tack back then, but you had things that would help him. You see the sink on that ball. So as you can see in the history of this, whether it's spit, literally scuffing or cutting the ball into substances like spider tack, which are really thick and gooey and give the ball more spin. What that does is give a pitch a real sink or drop, especially if there's a scuff in the ball. So it dramatically impacts the movement. There was a famous pine tar incident involving a bat. The Yankees manager Billy Martin in the early 80s knew that the Royals' George Brett was using a little too much pine tar on his bat. It's legal to use a certain amount, and Brett's bat had a little more. Martin held on to this information until George Brett hit a huge home run against the Yankees, and then Martin reports it to the umpires. The umpires checked and said, yeah, you have too much pine tar. It became a big, infamous scene where the game was ultimately resumed, and MLB ruled in favor of the Royals after the umpires ruled in favor of the Yankees. But that's another example where Billy Martin had the umps check something that managers don't usually have umpires check.
Pitchers, fielders, and managers communicate the pitch through signs. If a batter knows what pitch is coming, they obviously have a leg up on the pitcher. When an opposing team intercepts these signs, they are partaking in one of the most common forms of cheating in the game: sign stealing.
Each team has its own set of small indicators where a base runner could be standing on second base. He can figure out what sign the catcher's putting down, and the indicator might be, I will take one step into right field, I will take one step toward left field, I will quickly touch the brim of my helmet, I will rub my hand across the letters of my jersey. I'm looking this way, it's a changeup. I'm looking this way, it's a fastball. It's that hidden language that goes on between players. The batter could respond, I want the sign or I don't want the sign, with a similar indicator. And by the way, this is completely legal.
One team in particular has recently been accused of using technology to steal signs. This all came to a boiling point in the 2017 World Series between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Houston Astros.
So the most significant scandal in baseball over the past at least decade is the Houston Astros and the sign stealing that they were proven to have done in the 2017 season when they had a monitor mounted on the wall behind their dugout. They got signs from that, banged on a trash can to get those signs to the batter, and they won the World Series. It's so hard to hit that if you can tell what's coming and prepare yourself for the speed of a fastball, the break of a breaking ball, that gives you an advantage. Probably the most sensational and most attention-grabbing and much analyzed accusation levied against the Astros was the idea that their star second baseman, Jose Altuve, was wearing some kind of buzzer that gave him the pitch when he homered off Aroldis Chapman of the Yankees to win the 2019 American League Championship Series. So Chapman throws a slider there. Altuve takes a very comfortable swing. I was there. The ballpark was absolutely crazy. One of the loudest I've ever seen a ballpark. Chapman's smiling, which people later wondered if that meant that he thought Altuve had the sign. He denied it. He said he didn't think that. So as Altuve rounds third and gets home here, you can see him grab onto his jersey. And that's the moment that really rouses suspicions. People thought that he was saying, don't take off my shirt. I'm wearing a piece. I'm wearing a buzzer. As sexy of an allegation as it is, there is no evidence that Altuve did that, and he was actually one of the Astros hitters that didn't want the sign. So this one appears to be in the realm of speculation and fun fiction, though not fun for Altuve.
It's simple. The faster a batter swings the bat, the further he can launch the ball. So players could either go to the gym or manipulate the bat. Historically, the most popular way to make a bat lighter is to cork it or hollow it out.
Chris Sabo of the Reds was busted in 1996 for having a corked bat. This is one sort of from our childhoods if you're of a certain age too, because you don't hear much about corked bats anymore. The advantage is actually dubious. What the player's actually doing is hollowing out the wood from the middle of the bat and putting cork in it. It helps with your bat speed. But a lot of hitters believe that by making the bat lighter, you're hurting the exit velocity of the ball off the bat, meaning how hard it would actually go off the bat. So yeah, you're able to whip the bat through the zone, but you're also perhaps not hitting it as hard, or the ball's not necessarily going as far.
Another way hitters look to gain an advantage is by using performance-enhancing drugs, or PEDs. These drugs are obviously banned by Major League Baseball. PEDs came under national scrutiny following the 1998 home run record chase between Mark McGwire and Slammin' Sammy Sosa.
Down the left field line, is it enough? Gone!
So if you were alive in September 1998, you were probably watching this. I was watching it with my dad. It was one of those warm and fuzzy baseball moments, and America was so happy for Mark McGwire. All across the country, people were cheering, people were hugging. This was baseball coming back into the popular American imagination, and what we didn't really want to think about or talk about was how massive that guy's arms were. He was, it turned out, using performance-enhancing drugs. It was something that we had to reckon with and understand as we got older and had to deal with the fact that what we saw and what we enjoyed, while it was still real, wasn't exactly what we thought it was. Baseball's weathered these things in the past. I think they'll continue to have to chase people trying to cheat. It's always been a culture of the sport. It'll blow up, there'll be other storylines, and it's always been part of the game. But it's something that can't go so far that people lose faith in the integrity of the competition itself.
If cheating is so embedded into the game, can it be cut out once and for all? That's a difficult question to answer. So the next time you see a ball hit into the stratosphere or a pitch break with wicked movement, we won't blame you for thinking there's something fishy going on. Chances are, there could be. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell in the corner so you'll be notified when we publish new videos. We'll see you next time.